All right, let's get into a live Q&A here on NFL Daily on Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. He's Tom Downey. Easiest way to do so, Super Chat or use hashtag NFL. So this one coming in from Sports Highlights. Can Jets be in the running for AB? Also, do you think the Jets should trade for a veteran, and which one? I assume he means wide receiver.
Yeah.
There.
How about Kenny Stills? Gives them some vertical speed, help fully replace Robbie Anderson. I think Denzel Mims is an outside guy, but I don't know if he's going to be quite ready to go in year one. You could afford Stills. I've mentioned Alshon Jeffrey for the Jets in the past. I think that could be an option as well. But if the Jets want to get aggressive and try and compete under Adam Gase, I do think Antonio Brown could make some sense. I do wonder how those two would get along, though. That could be a potential issue.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one in the end. Let's go to Luca using hashtag NFL. As of now, have the Dolphins rebuilt the right way? I like what they've done this offseason.
I don't necessarily agree with every single individual move that they've made, which honestly isn't a huge surprise. That's very common across the NFL. But I think they've done a pretty good path. They got their quarterback. They invested a lot in free agency in the defense. They're going to play a lot of man coverage. I like that in the NFL. The biggest thing they still have to do, they've got to figure out that offensive line. They spent some picks this year, Hunt, Austin Jackson. We'll see how those guys develop. They have to find a way to ensure that they build a good offensive line to protect a quarterback who has had injury problems before.
This era of Dolphins football will be defined by Tua's health. I really think that 5 years from now, this will either end up looking like the year that they became a relevant franchise again, or it all fell apart because Tua couldn't stay healthy. All right, Rashard Lee asks, AB or Dez to the Packers? Probably neither. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think AB is more likely.
I mean, they both got issues. Dez hasn't played in a while, coming off the injury. Antonio Brown he's Antonio Brown, a bit of a head case there. I would lean towards Antonio Brown to give them another legit number one option. I think Dez could work, though. I do wonder if there is a little bit too much overlap between the role you'd want to have Dez Bryant play and the role you want to have maybe Allen Lazard play.
Yeah.
And you always lean toward the younger guy over the older player. But if I'm Green Bay, I'd go get one of those guys because I need more than just Devontae Adams, Devin Funchess Lazard, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, the thing about Adams is he just doesn't have top-end speed. I would go.
He's still great.
He's awesome, but you need speed at the receiver position up there, and they don't have a lot of that. Valdez-Scantling's been very, very inconsistent. All right, let's go to Texans fans using hashtag NFL. Dark horse candidates for a Jamal Adams trade. Well, funny you say that. For those of you watching live, we got a Jamal Adams trade destinations video coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes, so stick around for that. We will get into our list and perhaps some dark horse teams as well. Will the Jets trade Jamal Adams? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I don't think it'll happen before week one. I do think if the Jets start off poorly, it could be a midseason trade.
My brain says no, my heart says yes. How about that? If the Jets are smart, they don't do it. They pay their superstar safety. But there's so much smoke around it coming from a variety of sources that I think at some point there's a pretty good chance. Maybe not before the season begins. Maybe it's not even at the trade deadline. But I do think that ends up happening for the Jets at some point. So I'm going to go yes, but I'm not confident.
This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so go ahead and answer this question down there. Type Y for N, or type Y for yes, type N for no. Let's go to Alyssa. Do the Cardinals have a shot at the playoffs? Also, do you think Kyler could take the next big step that a lot of second-year quarterbacks have been doing? Yes and yes. I am an Arizona believer, Tom, in what they've done. I think Cliff Kingsbury actually works more in the NFL, ironically, than college football because he doesn't have to worry about things like recruiting and dealing with 18 to 22 years olds. He can just call plays and let the defensive coordinator run the defense. I expect a big year from Kyler Murray. I actually think he's a dark horse MVP candidate.
I agree with you on Kyler Murray. The big issue for me for the Cardinals, I should say two issues kind of combined here. The NFC West is great.
Yes.
Niners, Seahawks, Rams, those are all teams with legitimate playoff aspirations. I think Arizona could also be included there. The extra spot, of course, helps. I got some worries about that defense. It was below average last year. The offense will help cover up, I think, at times for it. But I do still worry about Kingsbury being the guy. And Maybe Arizona's path is, look, if the offense is great, they don't care too much about, because then Murray's your guy long term, and that makes it a worthwhile hire. I think the Cardinals are an obvious improvement team.
Yep.
I think there is a bit bigger step than we want to admit. Like, if they were playing in a different division, even the NFC North or South, I might feel a little bit more confident in them. It's just a tough division.
Yeah, 16 games from Patrick Peterson should help because remember, he was suspended last year for 6 games. We got a super chat coming in from Miston Recon. Freeman has broke my heart from fantasy football. Don't sign him. If you had him 5 years ago, 4 years ago, even 3 years ago, he was awesome. The last 2 years, he broke some fantasy teams who drafted him in the first and second round.
You drafted him early in 2017. Wasn't bad, but wasn't as good as you were hoping. A little bit later in 2018, but then he got hurt, so he killed your team.
Yep.
Even if you took that mid-ish round flyer on him this past year, it didn't turn out very well.
Didn't work out.
I understand where you're coming from, my friend. There are several players out there who I think fit that category.
Speaking of that, which is your least favorite team in the NFL? We always ask people's favorite team, right, Tom? So let us know who your least favorite team is. Maybe your most hated team. Get angry in the comments. Let us know who your least favorite team in the NFL is. We got a couple of shout-outs here. Let's see. You got the Seahawks, the Patriots, a couple of Patriots coming in, lots of Cowboys coming in, Steelers, Pats. Someone just said Tom Brady. That works too, whatever team he's on. So keep letting us know what is your least favorite team in the NFL. Got another super chat here coming in from Brian. I really wish the Cowboys would have used the non-exclusive tag on Dak and knocked him off his high horse. I do not see an NFL team giving up 2 first-rounders and giving him the biggest contract in NFL history. Thoughts?
I actually very much agree with Brian. The premise behind giving Dak the non-exclusive tag was hey, we're operating in good faith. We're going to get this deal done. You're our guy. We're going to get the long-term contract signed. I agree that with Brian, I don't think a team would have given up 2 firsts and a record-setting contract. Now, you might have negotiated something different. Maybe it's 1 first back when this was applicable. Of course, Dak didn't sign his tag because Dak wants to be a Cowboy as well. So I actually do agree with Brian. I'm not quite as sold on the high horse side of it. But the key part of giving the non-exclusive tag, you have to get the deal done because all it does in the end, if you don't get a long-term deal worked out with Dak, all it does is cost you money in the long run because now the franchise tag price for next year is set at like $37+ million. Would have been lower had it been the non-exclusive tag.
Tom's going to keep you guys up to date. You see the link below, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. He's got videos going up on that channel every day. Trust me, lots of Dak Prescott contract talk over there.
Even though nothing's changed in 2 months.
Absolutely, and it probably won't change for another month. Type your votes. Will Cam Newton start somewhere in 2020? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. Let us know if you think he's a starter. I'm going to be frank, and I have been for about 3 weeks now. I don't see an avenue where he starts unless a quarterback gets hurt in a training camp or preseason.
I think happens. So I'm actually going to go with 1. And not that I'm wishing injury. I'm going to go 1 for yes. Newton gets a start in 2020.
From Aaron Hillard, do you think Dwayne Haskins will be the Redskins quarterback for the future? I'm higher on Haskins than I think you and most people are.
I liked him coming out.
I loved him at Ohio State. He had literally the best season in the history of the Big Ten.
Until this past year.
As a college. Yeah, I guess Fields was a little better. Passing only, though, Haskins was pretty phenomenal a couple of years ago. I want to see how this year plays out because I thought down the stretch he played a lot better.
You're right. There was a direct correlation between Haskins coming in off the bench, Haskins getting thrown into the lineup, and Haskins having time to develop as a starter and be the guy down the stretch. I think that's a promising sign. He does still need some time to develop. I want to believe in Haskins, but with the new coaching staff, and even though it was more of an owner pick, he's going to have to show some promise this year, or they might bail, potentially even for Justin Fields.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Next one up here is Bray, 3185. Best uniforms in the NFL.
Powder blue Chargers.
Yeah.
I love them.
But that's obvious. So outside of those.
Bucks creamsicles. Under the radar, good jersey. How about the Carolina Panthers?
That's a good jersey.
I like the black and the blue. That's a good combo.
I like all of the Ravens ones. I like their
good
black
choice,
ones
good
and their
choice.
purple ones. Both their uniform
Purple's
combinations.
an underutilized color
It
in
is.
pro sports franchise.
It is.
I agree there.
Their purple unis are good.
Good
so
picks.
there's a couple of picks there. Speaking of unis, you can get yourself a new jersey for the 2020 season for less than $80 when you go to this link, chatsports.com/jersey deal. And for those of you guys who watch a lot of our live videos, you're thinking, this same deal. Well, there's a lot of new jerseys available at this price tag now, including some rookies. You got Tua up there. I know Joe Burrow and CeeDee Lamb are a couple of others. The new Gronk Buccaneers one is available. So you can get a lot of different players for less than $80. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. Go ahead and hook yourself up with a new jersey before the 2020 NFL season. We'll put that link in the comments and in the description. All right, Tony here with the Super Chat. Your thoughts on Joey Bosa to the Niners for D Ford and a mid-round pick? Bosa is cheaper than Ford this year. My thought is, why would the Chargers do that?
Yeah, great trade for the 49ers. I don't know why the Chargers would take a lesser, more expensive player for a mid-round pick.
Yeah.
Like, it's a funny idea because you get the Bosa brothers together, but the Chargers are just going to pay their top flight edge rusher.
Yeah, I think if you can't dump Ford and be like, give us a Ford.
Now, if you wanted to explore Melvin Ingram,
That's
maybe that might make a little bit more sense. The Chargers could free up a little bit more cap. So that's just an idea, but I don't see the Chargers doing either, frankly. Just throwing out ideas here.
Former Michigan great Shane Morris with the Super Chat here. Why is everyone so certain? I was hoping.
That's a good one. That took me a second.
I was hoping you'd get that one.
That's a good one.
Why is everyone so certain the Broncos are the second best team in the AFC West? Unproven quarterback. Raiders had a better overall season with a terrible schedule. I don't think everyone's so certain that's the case. I think people like what they did this offseason, but quite frankly, Tom, I think all the teams chasing the Chiefs had a pretty good offseason. I like what the Raiders did in free agency. Their draft is a little more hit and miss for me, although I do like a lot of the picks they made. I love the Chargers if they can get good quarterback play.
I mean, I think and I'll try to explain the mindset behind Denver. I'm kind of more on you. I think Broncos, Raiders, Chargers are all kind of clumped together behind clearly the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think that the pros for Denver are young quarterback on the rise, and they invested a lot in skill positions. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Melvin Gordon. That's sexy. That's fun.
Yep.
They should have a pretty solid defense. They had a pretty good one last year. So I get why people are on Denver. I can only speak for myself. I think Denver, Raiders, Chargers all kind of grouped together as legitimate playoff contenders.
I think if the Chargers get good quarterback play, they clearly have
they stay healthy.
They have the second best roster in that division.